Welcome to this latest video blog from Fusion IM. Joining me today is Executive Chairman Steve Pearson. Steve, the world has changed dramatically because of the coronavirus pandemic, and one thing that's changed is the reduction in travel, particularly international travel. So therefore, if you've got a cross-territory project, you've got an asset in one country and teams based in multiple other locations, how can that be successfully delivered by the application of data?
At the moment, it's always been the case. We've always had central data repositories. Using technology, we can access data anywhere in the world. And obviously, up until the pandemic, people were still comfortable with face-to-face meetings. They weren't used to technology. Here we are now using video technology and headsets and stuff. And people now start to realize you can do it all remotely. You can do it over the internet. And therefore, having the information available is no different to before. I think it's just people now recognize you can't travel and you can't see people face-to-face. So this is whilst it's really sad for the whole world, it's actually good for digital technology because it's helping showcase what the digital technology can do.
So how does it then work in terms of somebody in America wanting to access the same bit of data that somebody in, say, the Middle East is? How does it work? We obviously know that the data will probably be held in the cloud, but that's too abstract for what we're thinking about here. What happens and where is that data held and how do they access it?
Yeah, so as you rightly say, the information's held in the cloud. It's in a master data model, which tends to reflect the real world. Master data models are quite robust and neutral, and people can genuinely access it from any device anywhere in the world. Somebody in Houston can make a change to the database, and somebody in Aberdeen can see that change instantly. Meanwhile, there could be somebody in Singapore on the site making changes to the data set to reflect the as-built situation of a facility. So it is a genuinely live environment where people from anywhere in the world on any device can actually make a change or access the information to make informed decisions. So that's what it's about, really.
And one example of that, I suppose, is doing site inspections. So you can always see the status of the condition of an asset and what's happening and what needs to be done. I suppose that also feeds into sort of the digital twin element. Can you explain what that is and using that inspection example as a way of explaining it?
Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned inspection. So we have two things that can inspect. We have humans, right, which are using digital devices, mobile devices to take images and video and record sound, so they're inspecting, using the technology. But now oil companies are investing in robots. So we've got robots that are roaming around, seeing if they've got flare detectors to see if there's a gas leak. They've got cameras on to take laser scans. They're doing 360 photography. They're checking the status of valves using artificial intelligence and machine learning. And they're all feeding the same pot. They're feeding the master data model with live data and inspection data. So now what you can do, engineer, corrosion expert can actually look at video images from humans, video images taken from robots, go back over time to see, corrosion, of something over time. So the whole industry is getting smarter. And obviously the heart of it is the digital twin and the master data model.
So do you think, from what you were saying before about that the technology was there, but do you think that this forced changing culture of this pandemic situation will actually have, in some ways, it's had a lot of negatives, obviously, but a positive in terms of how industry, and particularly sort of industries, oil and gas and offshore renewables and chemical industries, how they operate in the future?
I think so. I think they're starting to recognize the value of technology, and I think it's going to become the norm. So people can access all information they want using simple applications on their mobile devices. And I think now with the pandemic, it's forced people to access technology, forced them to use headsets and video conferencing facilities and Teams and things like that. So I think that, obviously, unfortunately, the world is going to change, but I think that one of the lasting memories will be the fact that the technology is an enabler and it allows people to make informed decisions efficiently, and rather than them actually talk to friends and find out what's happening in the workplace.
And from a Fusion perspective, obviously, like you say, this has been around for a while, and as Fusion's obviously got a very long track record of that. So, you're in a good position to be able to help those that are making the first steps into this. How would you help businesses do that? And what would be the first things you say to a business that's considering making this jump to more of a more controlled data-led approach?
I think the main thing is to say to them, sweat your asset. They've got a lot of legacy information. Invariably, it's in different pots. It's held not only by the companies themselves, but it's held by their partners and suppliers. So it does tend to exist in lots of silos and islands. So the trick is to bring it together using a neutral data repository so your investment is safe, and then use the best technology available today and then tomorrow. So use what you've got. It's not as difficult as people make out. You don't have to invest lots of money in technology and surveys. You just got to really recognize you've got a lot of good data. It's just not organized as well as it could be.
Excellent. Steve, thank you very much. I think if you want to find out more how Fusion can help your business, visit the website and look out for some more video blogs in the future. Thanks.